Hi, I'm Brad Moon for Best Buy Canada's blog. Today I'm looking at the Apple TV 4K, the Ultra HD video streamer from Apple. In the box you get the Apple TV itself, the Siri touch and voice control remote, and a power cable. I've been using Apple TVs since they first came out in 2007, so I thought it might be a good idea to have a quick look at how they've changed over the years. The first model looked like a Mac Mini. It had a built-in hard drive to store content, it was loaded with connection options, and video maxed out at 720p. The second generation model shrunk dramatically and became a streamer only. The third generation was identical, but with a faster CPU and 1080p support. In 2015, the fourth generation Apple TV got noticeably chunkier, but it moved to tvOS with an App Store and got a Siri voice control remote. Now that brings us to the current model, the fifth generation Apple TV 4K. It looks identical to the last version, except for some airflow vents added to the bottom. But it gains an upgraded remote, and most importantly, 4K and HDR video support. Now, word to the wise, these remotes are tiny, they're easy to lose and expensive to replace. Sticking a Tile Bluetooth tracker on it saves a lot of frustration when it falls between couch cushions or someone carries it to a different room. Setting it up is simple. Connect the Apple TV to a free HDMI port on your TV and connect it to power. You do need to make sure both the cable and the port support 4K video. More on that in a moment. And of course your TV needs to support the features as well. Here I'm connecting the Apple TV to a Vizio P-Series XLED Pro display. That has a 4K panel plus both HDR10 and Dolby Vision high dynamic range support, so it can take full advantage of the content from the Apple TV 4K. Once the Apple TV powered up, the Vizio automatically recognized the source and then setup began. Now Apple makes this really easy, especially if you own an iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch. You just set your device near the Apple TV and it automatically transfers settings like your Wi-Fi password and iTunes account, so you don't need to manually enter them. Next I go to the video and audio settings and I'm selecting Enable Dolby Vision. Now this is where the Apple TV helps you out. It will check the HDMI connection to the TV, including the cable, and confirm that 4K and HDR are supported with your setup. So at this point I'm going to try running the test, and based on the TV it's connected to and the cable, the Apple TV 4K comes back with a positive result, which means everything is fine. At this point the configuration is pretty much done. The whole process from the point of plugging in the Apple TV to running the test took maybe 2 or 3 minutes, so it's a very straightforward setup. From this point, you can make the most of the Apple TV 4K features, including games, which you can play with the Siri Touch remote. And there are thousands of other apps available through the Apple TV store, including Netflix. Now, one big bonus for people like myself who already have a library of purchased HD movies from iTunes is that Apple has been upgrading its content to 4K HDR versions. If you already own the HD version of a movie and it's one of the ones that's been converted, they'll upgrade it to 4K HDR streaming for free. As you can see on this copy of Spider-Man Homecoming that I had purchased. You can see it supports 4K and Dolby Vision HDR. Naturally, the screensavers for the Apple TV 4K are in 4K and HDR as well. And with this new streamer, you get access to 4K and 4K HDR content on streaming services that you have an account with. One must-see show is Planet Earth 2 on Netflix, which is streaming in 4K HDR. The visuals on this are just incredible. Now, the original Planet Earth sold an awful lot of 1080p TVs, and this new version is pretty much the poster child for upgrading to 4K. Now, speaking of that, if you're looking for either a new video streamer or a 4K TV, Best Buy is the place you should be looking. And to learn more about the Apple TV 4K, be sure to read my full review on Best Buy Canada's blog.